Morning, legends. It is Fix Me Friday. Did I break my fan? No, that's all right. Now, Fix Me Friday is a video series where I help you with your running injuries on Fridays. And this is a little bit different to what's been put out on YouTube this week because all I've seen is Vaporfly 4 reviews all week long and I'm absolutely sick of it. No one gives a shit about that shoe. It sucks. It looks crap. The Vaporfly 2 was the best shoe to ever be created by a human being and they're never going to do any better than that. So stop watching these crap reviews. Most of them are just paid ads anyway, so why would you take an opinion from someone who's getting paid? Makes no sense. No, there are no paid ads on this channel. Okay, we don't do that stuff here, except obviously welcome 10 at checkout to get the best running hats in the game. But that's not a paid ad unless I pay myself to make the ad. Why would I do that? Now, normally I'm bouncing around in these videos and doing all demonstrations of exercises and things like that, but my hip and my leg kind of hurt from when the nerve got burnt. I didn't think it was going to be tingly and sore, but it's just a little bit, a bit grim. So I'm just going to take it super easy today. So sorry about that, but that's all right because we have a couple of questions. How good? Have you had any experience with rolling and stretching of the foot and toes? Yes, I do it all the time. I use a rolling pin. I've just lost it for some reason. I don't know where it is. I also use my massage gun. It's probably in that cupboard over there. I roll my feet all the time. It feels so damn good. Highly recommend it. Any thoughts on toe spreaders? I've used toe spreaders in the past a couple of times. I like them. What I found was that I got the most benefit out of just wearing barefoot shoes because they flatten and splay your toes out a lot more and you get a lot stronger feet. So you can try that or you can just use toe spreaders. Just make sure that it's not going to start to push your toes into the side wall of your shoe because that will get super painful super fast. And the next question, patellar tendinopathy and some sort of niggle in my ankle on top of my foot. Definitely a persistent issue. I would probably require a little bit more information in regards to both of these injuries. The patellar tendinopathy one we've covered probably 2 weeks ago, maybe in episode 9 of this hectic series. I've probably covered it a couple of times, okay? There's a lot of different things that you can do, but the idea behind tendon stuff is that you get the right amount of load to stimulate some tissue building, but not too much that you stimulate tissue breakdown. Finding that beautiful middle ground is the most important thing for tendons. Go back to episode 9 and see how you go with that. And that is the end of the questions. If you have any injuries for next week, put them in the comments below in the Peak Stride running forum right here, and we'll get to it when it's Friday next, which is next Friday. But first, we've got to fuel up. I'll eat this while you write your injuries in the comments. Okay, story time. I've been getting some soreness / pain in my Fibularis longus muscle or my right side of soleus. Maybe those are the same thing. They're not. It doesn't really bother me while running, but when I massage the area or do any kind of tissue work, it's really tender, very tender. I've been ramping up my weekly mileage and using a standing desk. I'm wondering if my running form is the cause of the issue, and then maybe I'm making it worse by standing since I unconsciously, there we go, put more weight on the outside of my foot. Will I make it worse if I keep doing easy runs, or can I do anything other than rest to get rid of the soreness? I feel so much better when I can run regularly. I would much prefer to not have to take a long break from running. Me too. And I selfishly hope you pick my question for the video. Brother, we do every single injury every single week. We do not cut out boring injuries. We do every injury. So let's discuss, okay? The peroneals and the soleus are a little bit different, okay? The soleus muscle pushes the foot down, but only when the knee is slightly bent. Whereas the peroneals, they bring the foot out. So it's a little bit different. The way that you can kind of differentiate it would be to, push your foot down, see which muscles are really tight, push the foot out to the side, and then you should be able to start to differentiate the different muscle bellies of the peroneal, soleus, that kind of stuff. So here we go. Don't tell the missus that I put my foot on the table, please, okay? So the soleus, when I try and push my foot down, you see the soleus pops out here. So that's the inside muscle belly. If I pull my foot out, you can see that just in front is going to be that fibularis longus. Now, I don't think you necessarily have to take any time off running. What you could actually do is do what we call like a deload, where you just take it easy for a couple of weeks and you prioritize the rehab and the strengthening of the muscles that are actually required to make you better. Okay, there's no point continuing running, because if you were to just continue running how you've been doing it, it would have fixed it already, right? What we need to do is maybe dial back the running 70% and spend much more time, maybe every other day, doing lots of rehab, okay? That is the best thing for you to do. Now, the perineals work to control the way that the ankle moves when we're running, okay? What we can do is overall try and build up the calves and build up the energy storage system of the actual leg itself and the ankle and the calf complex, so that we can transmit more power, and that's going to help to overall reduce your chances of picking up injuries. But you probably also need some isolated stuff. So the first thing that we're going to do, obviously calf raises with the knee slightly bent. We can do that, stack lots of weight up, okay? Get that moving, get those calves nice and strong. If the perineal muscles actually pull the ankle out, all we have to do is exercises into that pulling out motion, okay? I'll show you what it looks like now. Okay, so we got this big fat band, okay? We're gonna take the foot out into this position, okay? And just by holding it here against the resistance of the band, it's actually forcing our ankle to want to go this way. And so by using our perineal muscles, we're gonna do strong isometrics like that. We can also do normal exercise where we go in and out of range through this kind of movement, okay? What we can also do is take the ankle into an extended position like this and do the exact same exercise, just rather than being here, we're gonna be here. That's about all you need to get strong AF through your perineals. Okay, next injury, ongoing posterior tibialis tendonitis. Say that 5 times without choking on your words. No problem running, but I think less supportive shoes in particular make it worse. Pain on mild calf stretch of the medial ankle bone. Sounds to me like, yeah, you probably have some tibialis posterior tendon issues, okay? This one's really straightforward. All you have to do is improve your arch and your arch control when you're actually moving, okay? The way that you can do this is by starting with balance stuff, then progressing to dynamic balance that we've seen in these videos in the past, where you're doing like a star excursion on one foot. You can also start to improve your overall calf strength. That's gonna also help. You can modify the way that you run, could also be an interesting thing to do, but the general premise. But all these things are trying to accomplish the same thing, and that is that even though you are pronating with your foot when you're running, it's a controlled thing that you're actively doing. It's not like your foot's just dropping into actual pronation. Okay, we gotta slowly control it. Now, I'm not gonna demonstrate calf raises because that seems like completely pointless and redundant, but here's some arch stuff, okay? What you're gonna try and do is imagine that you have a point here and a point here on the heel bone and the actual ball of the foot. What we're going to try and do is lift the arch so that these points come together, and we're going to try and maintain that whilst we stand on one leg. Can we do that? And can we do a small squat? And then can we start to do some balance whilst maintaining this foot arch position without clawing the toes? Couple of brownie points. You can start to do this with eyes closed. That could also be good. What you can also do is the exact same band exercises earlier in the video where we were going out. We can flip it around to start doing them in, so that we can start to strengthen up and load this tendon, okay? Same thing, just on the opposite side, very straightforward. And like I said, I'm trying really hard to not do lots of exercise today because my leg's feeling a bit grim, so I apologize for that. If you want me to redo any of these exercises next week, let me know in the comments below and let me know that I did this video really shittily. Okay, here's the next injury. I've been running regularly for years and have recently developed an injury that gives me a dull ache just above my inside ankle while resting. When walking and leaning forward on my foot, this becomes a sharper 3 to 4 out of 10 pain. The inside of my tibia, a couple of centimeters above my inside ankle, is tender sore when I'm running my fingers along it. This is an amazing, well thought out and in-depth description of this injury that gives me a lot of information. Fantastic. I have full ankle mobility without pain when the foot is raised. No idea what caused this, as my mileage had been steady, averaging 30 miles per week. That's like 50 Ks per week, I think. And nothing much changed before injury. I haven't run since this became very painful, about 2 weeks ago now, and it hasn't really started feeling any better. Booked in with my physio, but it's weeks away. Man, physios can do that to you, where they make you wait like a long time. Now, the description that you're giving me and the fact that I cannot actually give you an assessment myself with my own hands makes me want to be a little bit more conservative with what is going on. You've already had 2 weeks off and it's not made any difference. And the site at which you're explaining that it's really tender is actually lower than where like the shin splints, generally speaking, will come up. Shin splints are going to be in this medial third here of the tibia, whereas you're describing a few centimeters up from the ankle bone, which is in here. This doesn't sound very nice. And what I would say is that, you know, we want to be a little bit more conservative with this because no one's actually put their hands on you to figure it out. It could be some bony stuff. It could be a little bit of a reaction to the training load, even though you didn't change it. There's other things that go into stress reactions and things like that other than just the actual load that you put on the bone itself. Could also have lots of lifestyle factors. I'm not going to get into that. You didn't really tell me anything about that, but that's okay. That's what you can talk about with your actual physio. So I don't want to be the guy that says that it's a tendon issue when it could be a bone issue, and I give you a tendon related injury thing and then you make your bony thing worse. Okay, I'm not going to be that kind of person. I'm saying let's be really conservative and let's just focus on maintaining some strength, some general ankle strength, some calf strength and some balance, and we can, you know, get ahead of this rehab before we do get some more news. Maybe you need a scan, who really knows. The physio will let you know. The ones that I would do would be ankle balance, okay, standing on one leg, doing a bit of balance stuff just to make sure that you're still using all of those little accessory muscles around the ankle and the foot. The next thing that I would do would be some general calf strengthening, okay? You could do some body weight calf work every single day. You could also train the rest of your body as well, providing that you're not stacking too much weight onto your foot, okay? We could do some isolated, you know, single leg squats, single leg bridges, things like that would be really beneficial for you and would help you to kind of maintain some little strength. You can work on your core, all that kind of stuff. What I would say is that in this certain scenario, yeah, you've probably been training pretty well, but now we have to rest and rest hard, okay? Resting is really important, and the faster that you can get on top of this and rest and get yourself ready to roll again, then you'll be ready to go much faster, okay? A lot of people tend to delay the inevitable time off that's going to be coming with some sort of injury that they get, but it sounds like you are pretty good and you've had 2 weeks off. What is an extra 2 weeks when you've already had 2 weeks off, you know? To me, it's like, doesn't really matter if you're cross-training and stuff like that. Don't push it. Be safe. Let me know in the comments below how you've gone over the next week and if it started to settle. Maybe it's not something as serious, but it's better to be conservative than do too much and end up in a lot more grief. Hopefully that helps. I would love to put my hands on you and figure it out for myself, but I don't want to get sued by giving someone the wrong information online. I'll see you guys next week. Take it easy. Peace out. Enjoy the weekend. It's Good Friday. If you celebrate that kind of stuff, I don't really care. So I'll just take the long weekend off. Thanks for that, religion. See ya.